Houston, we have a problem.
Typical.
We in?
I think so.
Seen just now. It started on the live stream there, but
There we
There
go.
we are. Wee bit of technical difficulties there, guys. Apologies.
No, well, you done the first. The first one was absolutely smooth, spot on, perfect.
Can we sack the backroom team, please?
Absolutely, aye.
Get them furloughed. It's not good
And then
enough.
we were cracking jokes left, right, and centre there.
I know. I'll be double furloughed at this rate. This is terrible. Just trying to get on this so I had a job again. Do you know what I mean? It's terrible. I'm out of it.
Right, I'll give this a share just now.
Brilliant.
Aye, I'm doing the same.
Welcome, one and all.
Right. You do your pages, John. I'll do the band and the yellow movement. Right.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So we're no double dunting. There's nothing worse than double dunting a podcast.
There we go. I've shared that. Sorry, what were you saying there?
Just welcome, one and all, to the second instalment of the Soundpod podcast. Thanks for joining us, guests, and anyone that's watching if they've been able to get on after our wee issue at the beginning there. But we seem to have got through it now.
Can you turn your mic up a wee touch, man? I don't know if it's my headphones are low. I'll just...
Sure. Any better, mate?
I think so. Aye, that's better. Aye. So we've got John McMustard and Dave Blair from Colonel Mustard and the Dijon Funf. What's been happening now? Guys, I want to say guys and troops at the same time now. It's happening, guys.
The Dijon Cinco.
I like goops. It's a good word. All right, goops.
Goops.
How are you getting on anyway? Doing all right?
Aye, no bad. Just soaking up the East End sun for my window because I've not got a garden. But it's been good. I'm going to keep this up after this is hopefully all over. Just sitting at the window a bit more and taking in what's happening outside and sunbathing in your house.
You found a new thing to do there. I'll just sit at the window. I don't sit at the window enough.
Aye, it's actually all right. There's plenty to see about here. The little car park's just down there. So
are you in the bedroom window or the living room?
Bedroom.
All right. I was wondering where the sun was. Why you were wearing shades inside?
It's dark and I'm wearing sunglasses.
Heavy on the bevy last night.
Because he's the Colonel.
That's it.
Well, I don't actually wear shades when I play a gig because I don't like that disconnect. It's only I don't particularly like wearing sunglasses, but the sun's pretty blaring. But I don't like doing that rock star shade thing. I prefer to see the whites of people's eyes when I'm in battle.
Aye, you like to get it close and personal. There's Rab just said, all right, lads, all right, Rab.
Hello, just
Rab.
feels more a connection.
File them in.
Aye.
Are you missing the gig then?
Defo. Big time. We got the we announced in the bars that the Orb had cancelled. Well, we knew obviously it was coming, but we've just been waiting on like promoters and stuff to get back to us with different dates in the Barrel and Ballroom. So it's it has been a blow. Am I muted or am I coming through?
No, you're coming through.
I'm just listening.
Just so intently listening.
I thought I'd hit the mute button there. So it's been. I definitely think I've went through the 5 stages of the grieving process with it, from shock, bargaining, anger, depression, and now I'm in acceptance. But each you know the festivals are cancelling, and you know the gigs are cancelling as well. It's just. It is still a wee. It's just There's a bit.
This is your busy time, innit? The festival's coming up.
Well, coming up for that, aye. Festival season is always a busy time for us.
There's no many you don't play either, is there?
This is.
You hear me?
This is true. I think how many we were going to do this year intentionally. Is that wee Charlie Poo Poo Pants?
I can't hear you because I've got the headphones on. He asked, am I allowed dessert? It's just like, do whatever you want. The homeschooling went out the window week 2, although I had Evie doing homeschooling on Saturday there.
It's the homeschooling thing's a nightmare. See with if you get the login, is it this login thing? I can't remember what it's called.
What a blow thing I've got into it, and it been kicked out, and the day Donna's been told that you have to go in and come out to get into the classroom, and so see what happens.
Hold on a minute. School on a Saturday?
Aye. Victorian dads. I made them watch Great Expectations the other day.
I'll reference the Pink Floyd number 1 of 1978. Oh, teacher, leave those kids alone. What are you making them do school on a Saturday? That's a punishment exercise.
She'd done an all-nighter on the Thursday into the Friday, an unauthorised one, so she was too tired for homeschooling the Friday. So
right. Okay.
My oldest is the same. She's been just sleeping. She's gone to sleep at like 4:30 in the morning and all that. It's fucking ridiculous. And then whinging at getting her up at 10 in the morning. She's like, just thinks she's summer holidays. You know what I mean?
That's what it's like.
The rules of the game have definitely changed. I've now officially moved into having insomnia for the last week. So like, I'm up until 5 and 7 in the morning, and then just sleeping for 3 hours.
Did you know? Sorry, did you not say you were getting up though, like normal kind of time? Like...
Aye, but it's like I've got this. My body clock still wakes me up like about 7ish or whatever, right? But there's now like this disconnect when you definitely know for many consecutive days that you don't need to be up for anything. Then it's my brain's now kind of kicked into this gear. It's like, well, what's the point in actually going to sleep, other than the physical benefits of it? But
what is it you're actually doing to pass the time?
Reading, watching. I've been watching a lot of Joe Rogan podcasts. I've watched 4 with Graham Hancock, 12 hours in the last week. They've been fascinating stuff. Graham Hancock's a guy that's done a lot of scientific. All right, Charlie. A lot of scientific research into the origins of civilizations and exploring the Atlantean myths and where different civilizations have started and when they ended because of different cataclysms like meteors and comets and stuff like that hitting the planet. But I've went down a Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock.
I never understood much of that, but I'll try to watch it and see if I can get it.
It's all the good stuff, mate.
He always has get good, interesting people on, though, isn't he? Like that's the beauty of it.
Aye, defo.
He's the biggest podcast in the world, isn't he?
He's doing all right with it, isn't he?
Aye, it's crazy now as well because he's getting everybody tested that's coming into the studio.
For
some reason, the States have made podcasts as a media source, so they're essential work, so he doesn't need to stop and they're allowed to travel, but it's crazy.
Like the wrestling's an essential service as well, isn't it? But
aye, that's it.
Obviously there's no audience in there.
Aye,
plus the dosh that he's got off the what was it we looked up, man? What was he earning? Something ridiculous.
It's like 200 an episode or something, 200 grand an episode or something crazy.
That's
like
wild. We're talking about Joe Rogan, John. I don't know if you.
I got the start of it, man. I had to go and find a toy for Charlie.
So we're hoping in the next year we'll be making about 200 grand an episode as well.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
Well,
Remember everybody.
Did you get the email contract John and I sent through that takes 10% of any future earnings?
We did that, but you need to sign before it goes live.
I left it with Andy. I didn't want to get into the legalities yet.
We'll speak to our people.
Aye, absolutely.
Get my people to speak to your people. We'll come to some sort of agreement.
Yeah.
Amanda Jane Taylor, hello.
Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Amanda. Hello, John. Young Connor Fife.
All right, Connor.
He's in a hate glow.
Aye. I know.
So you said that thing with yous. How is the album coming on? Yous were working on an album, weren't you? A second album.
It's finished apart from a couple of last minute just production things. It's done. It's in the bag. We were going to release it. Originally it was May, but I think even despite this, we were going to push it back a month or two, just to get it gleamingly good and
Polished up.
Aye. So, but now we're not sure. But it's great to have it though. Do you know? It's good to know it's there. And I went back to Gal does front of house for churches. He's brilliant kind of front of house engineer and producer. He's done stuff for Man and Moon and loads of good acts like the Fast Camels and all that. But I went back to him the other day with the final changes because I realised I'd left it maybe a month there just when this all first happened, just went into another zone. But I thought, I don't want to come out of this and the last minute changes still need to happen. So
having that gap, see when something's finished though and you've got that gap to listen to it, you're always going to hear a change. Even when it's finished, you're always going to hear, oh, could have done that, could have done this. So see, leaving it as long as you can, that's the best thing. And then going back to it with totally fresh ears. Because when you first say something as well, you're listening with you're criticising it. You're not actually enjoying like what you've made. You're like, how does that sound? How's the levels on that? And then
Hufty for the words just appeared on the screen there.
Who?
Hufty for the words.
that's a niche reference, John. Know your audience. I want to be fair.
I'm totally lost.
Couple of shout outs. Chris Weems from Mac Arts Centre. You'll probably know who that was. And Soapy Suitor's on as well, alright guys. They'll probably remember the word as well.
Are you going to perm that when it gets any longer?
No, I've got a Travis Bickle Mohican now.
It's not too bad, actually.
Thanks to a mystery hairdresser.
Aye.
A mystery hairdresser. Oh, aye, right enough.
Oh, yeah, aye.
You're not breaking social distancing rules.
No, it was on a.
It was on a 2 metre stick.
A selfie stick.
A paintball. That's how they could only get the sides.
Well, listen, we're in a new normal. It's adapt or die. We need to change what we're doing.
Aye, that's it.
Times.
Would you ever do the mohawk, John?
I've had one before. I probably I'm considering shaving my beard and hair off. Anyway. And I go through that phase. I've not done it for a few years, but I used to do it every summer. But I had the taxi driver Mohican, and it was for a birthday. I think it was my big sister's 30th or something like that. Because there's pictures of me in her kitchen doing the "You talking to me? You talking to me?" I don't see anybody else standing around here, so you must be talking. Make the move, shit deal.
Did you get more drunk? Did you just keep doing that further and further all night?
Aye, that was my kind of impersonation of the day. Even prior to having the mohawk, I could do a half decent De Niro.
Right.
Well, so someday a real rain will come and wash all this scum off the streets.
Frankie, is that an old? No, Frankie. It goes. The Bull Davies mohawk goes all the way back.
No, he's talking about the gap.
Honestly, second podcast in, he's barred. That's him. He's done. No getting anywhere.
Well, what I was thinking, my thinking with it, I was reading the Toysey Act over in Ireland, so their 5-point plan. I think they're going to start phase 1 of it coming out in the 18th of May. And in any kind of comparison, obviously with the shit show with the murdering Tory bastards, then we're way behind what they're doing. So I reckon we'll be another 2 or 3 weeks at least from tomorrow, even before we start looking at a 5-point plan. But across the sectors in Ireland, they were like specifically naming different jobs and stuff, and naturally anything outdoors first will open, like construction and gardening and all of that kind of thing, right down to the last ones would be like close contact, so beauty salons, hairdressers, barbers, and tattooists they mentioned would be the very last ones. And I was thinking to myself, like yesterday, the Barrowland closed before the official lockdown because of the 500 plus large gathering rule. So everything stopped from that point. Michael Kiwanuka on the 14th of March was the first one. So I was kind of in the isolation, well, the not working part of it earlier than the official lockdown. And then yesterday, or the other day when I read that for Ireland, I thought, this is the longest my hair's been in about 12 years. It was like R.P. McMurphy for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It was just wild going out. I thought to myself, I'll probably be able to get a perm in this again. If I go
I wish you did, man. I wish you did, man.
If I go a few weeks.
That's what's going to make us transcend where we're at now. Do you know what I mean? It's not music. It's all about the hair. If you can get that to a decent barnet length and just get the perm into it, the rest of it might even follow suit.
I'll loosely commit to that then, but I don't know. Well, I'll need to shave this off then and just let it start again. But okay, I'll semi-commit to that.
No, even like the Mohican perm, it's never been done before.
Oh man,
a perm.
Like that photo of Bobby Charlton. You ever seen that photo of Bobby Charlton? It's like fucking the pure.
The funky man.
Yeah,
there's no density. There's no density to the perm.
No,
the perm just goes with it.
I tell you what, I'm ready for it the now, man. That's what I had to say to Andy before you came on. I was like, I'm going to put a hat on because this barnet is just sweeping over my face. Oh, it could be. Right, hold on here. Let's try and get this. So the interface is good. I can use two.
Oofed.
That could definitely give me a perm.
Well, actually,
could get a perm in that.
That's more RP McMurphy than mine was.
I'm just missing the Native American now. That's just my pal.
Big chief pass. Juicy fruit.
So
see with the lockdown, Karen, you were saying everything's opening and stages and stuff like that, but see like the social distancing, it goes out the window as soon as you step into co-op.
Aye, right.
Your local co-op's not that big. I suppose no co-ops are really, but
nobody's like you can see the terror in their face when you're walking towards them, but they're.
Aye, it just depends. Our Lidl has good and bad moments, but I always just try and time it for when it's quiet. But sometimes you go down and it's teeming,
and even still, you'll still get people leaning over you to get a pair of salopettes next to the turnips.
I know, it's true, but I was in that Lidl a few weeks ago, and it was mobbed. It was a Saturday afternoon, mind you, but I was queued, and saying that the queue was like 2 meters apart, so the queue seems bigger than it actually is.
I just find it hilarious to know that. Gary, peace loving perm. Davey, you've got a wee tune there, mate. Davey Blair, got some hair. Cracker.
I know, well, who's that from? Ray? Ray's never... I don't think Ray's ever seen me with hair. So that's a start. Shout out to Vic Rastel for the hat from Sequin Emporium.
Smashed it with a hat.
Belter.
I love this hat.
But I do find it weird, though, going to like wait in line and people are surprised. Like I went to Tesco the other day and it was like a queue because it's a superstore, fine, and you're just standing there, headphones in, whatever, keeping your distance. And I've seen people walking by me to go to the back of the line and like huffing and blowing. It's like, where have you been for 2 months? Like, what are you surprised that there's a line? How dare people still need to eat? How dare they?
I seen a belter a tweet earlier on, which was but somebody just did posted a picture of like folks social distancing and stuff, and it was like, why are people even considering having children at the moment? Have you looked outside? But there is going to be an explosion of wins. Like, let's be fucking honest.
No for me, there's no. I'll tell you that right now. See, has somebody got a lawnmower on or something? I can pure hear.
It's my mine. I was telling you, my computer.
Oh, is that the noise, man?
Aye. That's how I've got it. Aye.
Have you got a fan in that computer?
Aye, it sounds like a Black Hawk outside your room.
Aye. Just keep muting me, or can I mute myself?
It's that army plane that was flying over Glasgow the other day. It's hovering over a bit to release some Hellfire missiles.
I was talking to John on the phone and he says, I need to sort some stuff at my computer that's making a bit of a noise, but fucking hell.
No.
First,
If anybody's listening, it's IT.
I've hated this computer since I got it. I wish I'd just
2020 First World Sound podcast problems.
Aye.
Can you get some comments up, Rooney? I keep seeing comments and I'm trying to read them.
Aye, who we got on?
Mickey
Mickey
says it's John's dildo.
He doesn't know what songs he's getting.
My dildos don't make noise, big man, as you know.
Colin, it's no John's dildo, it's Donna's strap-on.
Mickey Griffiths, how you doing, Mickey?
All right, Mickey boy.
T-shirt stuff.
That's Mickey from Wales, top lad.
Mickey from Wales.
Aye.
Good to see the Blackhawks getting a mention.
We're international. We're international.
Brian Emery would get that one, mate. That's a wee ice hockey.
Aye, Brian's into ice hockey.
Colin get a man bun in that. I don't think I could ever. I think I'd shave it all off before I get a man bun.
I think that might have been to Blair, or maybe it was to you. Aye, you should man bun it. It's amazing how freeing it is when you get a man bun in your hair. It's a new dimension to your character.
See, I used to have a tash, and then people looked at me a certain way, and I worry that people will just look at me the same way. Or maybe I could get both and do
combination, mate. Aye,
and the tash. In which case, nobody will look at you. You'll just get arrested immediately.
That's a guy. That's a guy you wouldn't fuck with, but you wouldn't give him. You wouldn't even throw out a wee cheeky comment like the side of your mouth or anything, because you don't know what's coming next. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of hoping though that once we start getting it a wee bit more, like people are a wee bit less judgmental about other people, because think all the shit that folk have been going through, throughout this. Except against the Tories, we'll still be judgmental against them, of course, because they are cunts and murdering bastards. But everybody else, let's be kind to everybody except for Tories.
Everybody will appreciate things a wee bit more for 2 weeks, and then it'll just go back to the way it was. That's exactly what happens.
That's the worry, isn't it? I suppose that's where the face thing will be quite interesting, because obviously if it goes through phase 1, say, and it doesn't work, and we start seeing numbers increase and it goes back, it will just hopefully be this is a problem. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're hoping there's another wake-up call after it, which is just a bit tricky in itself. Do you know what I mean? But
well, it's if the phase 2, the Spanish flu, killed more, multiples of 10. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, those who forget history are condemned to repeat it. Let's hope we don't make the same mistakes.
The reason that happened mainly was because the end of the First World War, the armistice, everybody celebrating together, the irony in that, and that the Spanish flu, which should be called the American flu because it came over America, as did the second wave. Both came from American army barracks, and the reason the Spanish got labelled with it is because they were the only ones reporting on it because they were neutral, but nobody wanted the bad PR, so they were just like, right, let's call this the Spanish flu.
Aye.
Which fast forward to today, and then you've got the fucking orange idiot Trump calling it the China flu.
Aye. That's him just trying to take the heat off.
Oh, aye, definitely.
As the Tories will try and do as well, try to put a spin on this many deaths. When other countries, you hear about Spain, China, Korea, Germany, how they've dealt with it, and we've just not done that. It was a free-for-all at Cheltenham the weekend, and it should all have been shut down weeks before that. It could have been. But anyway,
it's difficult as well, because you've got it's. I think there's an element that's wider than that as well, because you've got societies that work in different ways. Like the societies you mentioned that have dealt with it well tend to listen to their government, like Germany, where they're like, do you know what?
Exactly.
There's a trust level, and I think you look at the nations that are struggling and having higher numbers, there's a real disparity between the belief system of the people and the belief system of who's in power. Or there's at least a dichotomy.
That is true.
I'd say the connect is between neoliberal capitalism and just really the unfettered results of that, because when you look at the UK alone, because of what the Tories have done, savagely cutting their ideological austerity agenda. They knew 4 years ago in 2016 in June when they ran Operation Cygnus that the three main findings, so that was a UK, for those who don't know, that was a UK-wide from the NHS and all the major emergency services stakeholders, public, Whitehall, all the departments that would need to be involved. They have a thing called an EPPR, Emergency Planned Preparedness Response, and they ran a 3-day simulation based on a respiratory flu-like pandemic, and it exposed that the three main things that it would fail on, just based on the kind of like a number that would be an infection rate round about Spanish flu, but lower than I think it's 3 that coronavirus, COVID-19 started off at. That the three main things that would fail on would be there wouldn't be enough PPE to supply all the NHS on the front line. There wouldn't be enough ICU beds, and the NHS itself would just collapse and be completely overwhelmed. And looking at close to it, well, they estimated about 500,000 to 1 million or something dead.
Quarter of a million, I think this is.
Right. Okay. Sorry, my mistake. And
I don't know, mate. I'm just throwing that in there.
It was this significant. Anyway, the findings were that bad that it was buried because of, quote, it was terrifying. And then as a result of that, what did they do? Jeremy Cunt, when he was the health secretary, he then cut more ICU beds. And then at the start of this, as part of all of the mismanagement of it, the PPE that they had, they actually sold it to China.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking just to make a profit. So here's a pandemic that we know at some point is going to come and hit the UK, and the PPE that's sitting there just now that doesn't need to be on the front line because it's not fully hit the UK. What will we do to make a quick fucking buck? Follow the money, we'll sell it to China, and then it comes over, and then look where we are.
That'll miss us. We'll just bypass us.
Aye. Just go around, wash your hands, sing happy birthday, and we'll all fucking stiff up our lip it, take it on the chin.
Every cunt's sons are red raw, aren't they? Like everybody you see is like that. Fucking, how you doing, Joe?
Terminator.
I think the next thing that will come in, and I hadn't realised that this did happen in Great Britain after the second wave hit, was wearing masks, and I think we all need to start looking to do that. It's not perfect, you know. It's not going to completely eradicate it, but it's going to probably stop folk from spreading it if you've got some kind of face covering. But I think we're loath to do that because we think we're a society that's not done that. But I think it's good that, you know, there is a precedent in this country after.
You'll know better than anybody because I hear mixed opinions and stuff on the mask. So what is it actually does? It prevents you from spreading. It doesn't stop you catching.
I suppose it's just common sense, isn't it? If your face is covered in some way, you're not getting particles.
It's right.
And you're not putting them out as much. So as long as you're washing that, it's just, you know.
You hear people are saying it does nothing. It's pointless.
Well, that's not true.
No, it's not. It's respiratory droplets are not inhaled, and respiratory droplets are not directly exhaled onto someone. I mean, like we all know how quickly a sneeze can sneak up on you.
Mm-hmm.
And with the particulate matter in a sneeze, at least if you're wearing a mask, then you've caught that. Shout out to Genevieve, by the way. Genevieve's watching from Switzerland.
Genevieve. Thanks very much, Genevieve.
Let's brighten up a wee bit, man.
I was going to say, going back to the original point, I think there will be positives come out of it, and there already is, you know, like different groups and people meeting up. I've met loads of folk in the Sunday songwriting group I'm in.
I've been asking the Oracle.
It's good. And I've been getting, that's been a really positive thing for me. Chatting outside to your neighbours, like my neighbour who we've got a back close, but when it first kicked off and you could see that there might be food shortages, there was talk of it, and luckily that's not happened.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it doesn't happen, but I was like, why don't we plant some vegetables and stuff like that? So we've done that. My kids have been out helping, and he just taking it in turns. He'll shout down instructions to us for the one day and vice versa, and so there's wee wee community things, and folk are interacting with their families in different ways, and you're maybe not seeing your family as much as you have, do you know? So I think as well, we'll appreciate, and maybe it will be a couple of weeks and we'll just go back to it, but just being able to have a conversation with other adults and, you know, or children, and having, you know, being able to shake somebody's hand, you know, or give somebody a cuddle once, hopefully, it all does properly die down. All of these things, I think, will be positives, and it's terrible, but we've got to try and find the positives in it.
And everybody's became a wee bit more tech savvy, haven't they?
Aye, well,
do you know what I mean? If you're
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Somebody should have fired some shares into Zoom.
There's a wee comment. There's a wee comment there from Ray Woods. He'd said, "Surely, David, it wasn't the government that sold PPE, but commercial companies meeting demand." I can't see the rest of the comment though. But as far as I'm aware, Ray, it was the Sunday Times piece that obviously got a lot of exposure, that completely went to town on Johnson and the Tories for the crucial 5-week window and everything leading up to it that they ignored, and blah 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 blah. If you want to go back and try and get that Sunday Times article, you'll be able to read it verbatim for what's said. But I do from memory, it wasn't commercial companies. Commercial companies have put out an appeal, and actually I shared that post because they're sitting there and they could be supplying the NHS with what they need, and they're emailing the departments to say, we've got PP sitting here and they're not getting it. But the government did sell it, and then when they realised that they'd sold it and they were going to need it back, they then contacted mostly the Chinese companies that were on their buy-in list, and obviously the Chinese companies were then turning around saying, we can't fulfil your order in 1 week because there's a bit of a demand problem at the moment globally. So they were like double shot themselves in the foot with that one, so I'm not going to let them get away with that one either. But I'd like to give a shout out just now. One of our remaining tenants in the Barras Market, lovely couple, Aaron Blackwood and Sarah Nasir. They've got a laser printing company called a wee startup company called This Is Makers. They're in our wash house building in Gibson Street, just to the street on the left as you look at the Barrowland main building itself, and just through their own volition, they realised that with everything shut down and the stuff that they were doing, they just remodelled what they were doing. They contacted through, I think it was Paisley, YMCA, and a couple other we like NGOs or companies, and they got the template to make like the top of the range PPE visor, and they then started they got orders for 2,400, which had started to go out. So I jumped in. I was doing a wee bit of volunteering, helping them, and then they were going out to care homes that had already had deaths. They're going to NHS departments. They're going out to, but in Paisley there was an NHS community midwife team and stuff like that were getting like multiple. So they're doing a really amazing job. And if you check the This Is Makers Facebook page, it's only like a 50p donation will make one of these visors, and they're just going to continue keep on making them as long as the demand is there. And at the moment the demand is still exceeding the supply of how quickly we can get them out. But we've obviously got to stay socially distanced ourselves in our wee workstations as we do each different component, putting the 3 bits together. But big shout out to them. They're doing a lot of good work. So the commercial companies are there, but the government, and again I think we let the main commercial, there was like about 58 or something of them got together, and then they had to publicly come out and say, we've emailed the government department and said we can help with this deficit, and they're not getting replies. And probably the reason why they're not is because potentially behind the scenes, this is my own opinion on it, they're maybe not on the donors list. So the Tories will obviously look at who they'll keep sweet first in terms of the XL building that was being rented out at millions for that Nightingale Hospital, which is about to get fucking closed because it only had about 10 people or something. It's great that it's not, it didn't have to be used, but if you follow the money again with like the owners of the XL, you'll find that they're all like big Tory party donors and stuff like that. So they're actually monetising. They're making millions from this crisis behind the scenes, And even taking Rees Mogg, his own investment company, were exposed when their internal memo or email was leaked, and it said that there are amazing opportunities and potential for making serious amounts of money.
How many were they producing? This is makers. How many could they make? I don't know if you said it.
The last I know, last week was mostly delivery. We're doing some assembly again on Thursday. Last Sarah told me it was like 2,400 we had on order, and we can just keep on making them.
How long does it take to make it and assemble it?
The sheets of plastic need to be cut off. I'm not there at that part of it. Like, basically, when I've been going in, the visor sheets are cut. I've been cutting elastic bands into the right length, 32 centimetres, I think it was, and then we have to burn and fray off the ends. And then there's the plastic bit that we bend, that needs to be bent into shape, that's moulded. I mean, it's there's a process to it, and obviously it takes time. But
there we go, Gary Pender's 100 a day.
Right, Gary's been a wee bit more.
Gav Mitchell's just left a comment. The government knew since 2016 what was lacking and needed. After a dry run of services, should there be a pandemic, they chose to ignore it and suppress the results. They have blood on their hands.
Correct, Gav. That's that Operation Cygnus we were talking about earlier on. If that's you just joining, you'd miss it. Aye, definitely, Gav. You're totally right.
Gordon Booth talking up as well.
Gav.
Makers have been brilliant. They've supplied his wife's care home with better PPA. We'll definitely put something up on that on our YouTube and obviously on the Facebook as well. A link to their Facebook page as well. Anybody out there that's wanting to get that checked.
Cheers, comrade Gordon. I mean, like, even because of how good the Ivers are, some of the deliveries that I was doing, they were then feeding back and saying they were better than the existing list that they had anyway. So they're just more comfortable. I spoke in there in a 12-hour shift. It's great to know that they've actually got something that's been product tested by them before we could. Really, well, obviously it was product tested anyway, but it's great. It's great getting the positive feedback, knowing that it's really making a difference.
Aye.
It's just great, like ordinary people pulling together, and volunteers like David going out their way and delivering to places. Like there's been some amazing acts like that, just totally selfless acts, and they deserve all the plaudits. And after all this goes away, these people deserve to be recognised in some way.
Well, see, just on that, This Is Makers, one of their last posts on their Facebook, if you look at it, there's they've been recognised by the United Nations already. They shared an article, like 10 companies around the world that are inspiring people throughout this pandemic, and that's the United Nations actually recognising that. That's absolutely it is amazing.
Amazing stuff.
The Secretary General's department for something to do, obviously, like health or whatever it was. But everybody, I would recommend check out This Is Makers page. I mean, go on, give them a wee link. They're going to be doing something again after this. This has completely changed, obviously, the aim like it has for many businesses. But these are the type of wee businesses that need all the support that we can give them.
I know, absolutely, and I will be putting it out everywhere we can, promoting it as well for them.
Cheers, lads.
I appreciate it.
Stevens
in Dubai plays a tune. No, mate, I don't do the playing or singing, mate. I just sit here and try and hide my hideous hair at this point. That's
do you want me to get the triangle?
Oh, mate, get it right on it. I was going to say, John, see a minute ago with your laptop when you're moving it, I actually thought between that and the sound it was taken off. It's just going out the window. It's just doing its own thing there.
What'd you call him?
What's that?
I forgot what I was going to say. I'm thinking of the
drone?
The drone. Fucking hell, man. Totally out my head like a wee drone. Rooney stayed in America for a while, and he get the old Amazon, didn't you?
Aye, the old
drone
delivery right into your balcony. Aye, well, because they were trying it out there. Obviously, it's like hometown. They were trying it for locally, and that was a bit mental. You just get the wee notification on your phone. It's like your package arrived, and I'm like, no, it's no, because I'm sitting in my flat. And it's like, no, it's arrived, but it's out in your balcony, and you just turn around. You're like, well, this is becoming quite creepy. But thank you.
Aye.
I didn't even have to get up. This is brilliant. I just
Do you know, so you can get it, but you just see the wee thing fly away?
Aye, just going away. You're like, oh no, that's.
Right into a seagull.
Aye, I know.
I was telling
us
about the Amazon shop as well.
Aye, well, it's quite interesting that because it's just basically I don't know what their plan was with it. I don't know if it just got stopped or it never really kicked on, but it was just that basically you had your Prime account, you go in, and then it just scans all your items as it is, and then just comes out and charges straight onto your Prime account. There's no, I mean, it's pretty much fully automated in terms of a store, which obviously affects people's jobs and that, but it was pretty cool. And you can just go in, have a look, and scan in, scan out. It was that was pretty good. Aye.
The robots have won.
That's it, mate. Artificial intelligence. They do a better job than us.
Guys became a trillionaire because of this.
Who was that? Sorry, I missed that there.
The Amazon, the head guy.
Aye, Bezos.
Bezos, he made over 20. He's made like an extra 20 billion up on this quarter than the same time last year because people are just online more at home, sitting, getting a bit bored, and maybe
buying stuff,
doing a bit of endorphin injections into the brain through consumption.
Well, I bought myself some arse padded shorts for my bike that have yet to come.
I did recommend him for you.
You did, aye.
You're not wearing them for the bike though, it's just to make the arse look better.
It doesn't look any bigger, man. Gavin Mitchell's asking any news on the album release. I know we were talking about it before, but
I think we'll probably release a single the next couple of months. Probably release Ted Dancing, the single, in July. And we've already kind of asked folk to dance about in their kitchens and stuff like that, but I think we'll ask folk to maybe have a wee dance when they're out in the street. Obviously, socially distancing, just to make that kind of, 6 Dijon video with it. But Gavin's actually going to be on. He is on the album. He's on a new track that nobody's ever heard before, called We Are the Dinosaurs, and he does like a brilliant intro and outro on it. And he also done loads of mucking about outtakes and that we'll probably use because they're just so funny. But I'm not sure when the album will be released, mate, but I can send you the track or whatever tracks you want just to kind of have a listen.
Aye, that'd be awesome.
Gav says it's weird to see me with hair. Well, I had a bit more, Gav. But I had a mystery socially distanced Mohican inflicted upon me yesterday. It was willingly, but
as if somebody's just put a slug on your head. Or you've just been lying there and the slug's just made its way to there.
The mystery barber had actually says, the better way we should have done this is you should have just put gaffer tape either side of the bit you wanted.
I tape it off, mate. It's just like a skirting board. That's it.
What about that was another thing I wanted to ask you about, John, the John McMustard and the Daddy Bellies. What's happening with that? Is there?
We're supporting Henge in December if it goes ahead.
He thought I was going to see you supporting fucking Yoko Ono.
Yoko's the Oracle. We're in the Matrix.
So hopefully we'll see what happens. But I've been writing loads, but I don't know what will be Colonel Mustard, what will be the Daddy Bellies, what will be something else, But
what's your favourite? If you get that wee hang at Sitchin, I like that and I'll keep it for myself. Or if you lean me, I'll give that to the band because it's a wee bit better.
I try and give everything to the band, but it's whether they're into it or not, But if I believe in it, then I'll make it something else. But
aye.
Throw a few away. There's some that maybe don't fit either of the projects, but Recorded I've recorded with you, Andy. I've recorded with Becca Starr and Gordy, stuff that hasn't been released or needs developed a wee bit more. But
there's one of the tunes was amazing because I hadn't heard you ever do a serious tune. Like, remember, I was like kind of took back. I was like, that's a fucking great song, man.
Aye,
Really like that. I can't even remember that. I didn't think you had a name for it, but it's on the hard drive. Can get back into that at some point.
If what I've done on it's half decent, I think I'd need to sing it again. Though I think it was just
the kind of basic structures and ideas are done, but
I just love creating, and I probably started off writing serious songs for years. But then I wrote Ginger Girl, and that just changed everything. The reaction that the crowds were giving you, and I'm like, this is what it's all about. Do you know what I mean?
Is that not mostly
serious stuff?
Is that not mostly down to the fact you were singing it wearing my mankini that I wore to Tea in the Park for?
Get the mankini on and write a comedy tune.
That was one of the. Aye, that was
do you remember that?
Aye, there's pictures of me playing pool and firewater wearing the mankini.
Oh, I thought about that. I seen the video was brilliant. The video turned out really well for snooker, pool and darts.
Aye, that was Martin Windybank done that for us. He done a great job. We Roberts obviously brilliant in it, and David's and it was just.
By the way, you looked awesome as a referee. By the way, totally fitted that role.
I tried my best.
It was bang on.
Well, we had a snooker club in our. It's not there anymore, but in Muirhead where me and David were brought up, so snooker was kind of a bit more common. There's still the one up in Denniston where we filmed that, the Masters kind of let us use their private room. So that was brilliant. But I've seen John Higgins. He used to have a table up there practicing. I think.
He does. I think he does practice in there.
Remember, I used to have the snooker table at the garage.
Aye.
Are you good at snooker, Dave? I've got a feeling you'd be good at snooker for some reason.
88 top break.
He's good at all sports, David, because he's naturally competitive. But I bet him, as the photographic proof the other day, I bet him in the egg and spoon race. And
you fucking cheated. You cheated.
I did cheat. I know I cheated.
I couldn't tell what one was you. I couldn't tell what one was John.
John,
I could spot you a mile away, but what one were you?
He was the lanky one at the back.
That was the skinny one, but that was
thumb on the egg. He had his thumb on the egg.
That was the year after my appendix burst, so I ended up in York Hill with pneumonia and didn't eat, so I was so skinny for years. That's how I was like a sparrow in that.
I honestly couldn't tell what one's you. I need to go back and look at it. So,
aye, the skinny one, I've got a kind of green and white stripy top.
But you were away at the front, you know. Dave,
I was in the lead, and through his cheating, that's why we called him Ben Johnson throughout the 90s.
Actually, I was watching the Ben Johnson Carl Lewis race last night because I was doing Mark McGee's quiz yesterday. I done the sports round, so it was good watching all that again. But I think Carl Lewis, he tested positive prior to going over, but I think because he was American and they'd put in an appeal and stuff like that, he got away with going over. But I think most of that lineup were all taking steroids. I think they should just be allowed to take whatever they want.
If they can handle it.
That's just man, aye.
And what was that? Was that the egg and spoon race he was doing as well?
Aye. 50-metre egg and spoon dash, mate. It's a big one up the list.
Just the spoon race. Where you have to run with it in front of you.
Is that no the middle-later junkie breakfast?
I tell Gavin, in fact, tell Gavin, I'll film myself. Gavin, I'll send you the track over. Your outtakes are amazing, I know, man. So cheers for.
Does Gavin sing on it, or is it talking parts? Or
he does a talking part. Aye. we done Sean Connery's Sea Shanty as well, which we recorded, but I don't think that'll go on the album. That'll probably just be a B-side or just something we release. But we just done an a cappella thing. But
I've got a message for Gav as well. So we've started doing this. We've got 2 books written about the Barras. Nolan Naughton wrote Barrowland, A Glasgow Experience. It's available on Amazon and the Kindle. And Barrowland Ballads was written by the Recollective team, Alison Irvin, Chris Leslie and Mitch Miller. So we've got a few wee bits and bobs in both of them. So we've started serialising it on the Barrowland Ballroom Facebook pages and in the group. And we're sharing a Barrowland memory. So obviously we haven't got any gigs on at the moment. So we're just looking at a date on this year, such and such played. So after this, I'm going to be putting it out. So this is a wee exclusive because I was going to be mentioning Gav. So on this date, I can't remember the year right, but anyway, whatever year it is, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds played the Ballroom on whatever year. And last year, when Nick came on stage with Kylie down at Glastonbury, because he lives down in Brighton, and there was a Scottish volunteer with me. I was down there volunteering with Greenpeace again. And you sometimes find at Glastonbury, like, a lot of the volunteers especially, like, they just love Glastonbury, the whole place and everything about it. But some of them, they don't know much about music, and some of them, like, admittedly, really strangely, aren't even big music fans. But there's a lot of other things you can do at Glastonbury, like the theatre tent and the comedy and everything else that's going on. It's like a whole universe down there when it's on. So Kylie was in the Legends slot on the Sunday, and it was very emotional for her because the year she was supposed to play, she didn't, because that's when she had her cancer scare. And she was obviously very, very emotional. And what's the song she does with Nick again? The Wild Rose? Where are the Wild Roses? Well, whatever it is, as Nick came out, everybody obviously, well, mostly everybody knew who he was, but then the Scottish guy next to me went, "What the fuck's Bobby the Barman doing on stage with Kylie Minogue?" And there was just like a select audience around him who knew who he was talking about, who just fucking pissed themselves like that. That's no fucking Bobby the Barman. So that's the wee anecdote I'm going to be sharing, Gav, on the Barrowland Ballroom page after this.
Brilliant, man. Oh, that's brilliant. It's like the reverse. You're no Troy the Gardener. You're no Bobby the Barman. Oh, what else you got? What else was going on anyway, Dave? Before the old lockdown event, obviously Bad was starting to go really well as well, and
Bad was starting to go really good.
Aye, sorry, that's going to confuse a lot of people that don't know what I'm talking about.
Good days or bad days. Aye, well, we had the weekly Barras Art and Design Sunday sessions. So we had like a few featured acoustic acts coming up, semi-acoustic 1, 2, 3 pieces sometimes, and an open mic. And we had we had some amazing folk playing. I've actually just put together, having a wee bit more time on my hands at the moment, in the insomnia, sitting up throughout the night, of Graham McCausland, the promoter that we deal with the Room 2 gigs. He'd asked me if I wanted to do a Spotify playlist for it was 12, what the free sellout gigs we've had in Room 2 with the 23 promotions. So it was just a song from everybody that's played it, everybody coming up. So John McMustard and the Daddy Bellies, they've got a song on it. Henge have got a song on it. And then I thought, I'll do one for Bad for the Sunday sessions on there. So we've got Dope Sick Fly, Colin Hunter, Connor Fife, John Rush, Star Azagora, Liz Johnson and me, The Cairds, Fallen Arches, Daryl Spears, Zoe Bestel. There's quite a few on it.
You got a list there?
I've got my Spotify.
I was going to
up
say, that's
now.
fucking impressive.
I know.
There's 36 on it. I think I might be missing just a couple, but some of them aren't on Spotify. But I'll probably give that a share tomorrow now. And it's been. There is actually, I've found some happiness in going back over these musical memories, because now that I'm in the 5th stage of the grieving process, acceptance, we've accepted that there is not going to be a live gig tomorrow night or in the very immediate future. So the wee saunter down Barrowland Memories has been brilliant. I've been greeting quite a lot, I have to say. But some tears of happiness as well, strangely, which was a weird one because I woke up this morning and Kirsten, she's still doing her teaching. Shout out to Kirsten from the band, Badges, trumpet player extraordinaire. And she had put in one of these just mad comparisons. It was something to do, what would you rather have, chocolate tears or... What was the other thing she said, John? You're muted, John. Unmute yourself.
I can't mind because my wains are greeting in the background. That's why I'm...
Okay. Aye, so it was something to do with...
What did you do to them? What did you do?
Well, they're
you're
all
in a bedroom, now you've got a shirt on and you look as if you're in a different room.
Aye. Well, see, anytime I take the wire out of this, it's making a funny noise and everything's slowed down. Like, I don't know if that's happening for everybody or just me, but it's pretty disconcerting.
I've got Kirsten's WhatsApp now. It said, would you rather sneeze cheese or have chocolate flavoured tears? Answer in the comments, please. Would you rather sneeze cheese or have chocolate tears?
Oh,
Sneeze cheese. Sneeze cheese.
it's just whether, but it's just dependent on if you find either of them gross going into your mouth. Because either way, I'm eating it. But I just need to figure out whether I want cheese or chocolate.
Well, I went for chocolate tears, and then Kirsten says, but that means you would need to be upset quite a lot.
Oh, that's
said,
true.
Well, no, really, because I've been laughing hysterically at a lot more comedy and some things. Let's see Viz letters, and shout out to Gary. Gary gave me 4 copies of the Viz, which I've been reading, and I find some of the stuff in Viz, it makes me laugh more than anything, actually. And I've been laughing so hard, and I think sometimes, see, with laughter, like if you're in company, you might not let it go on as much as you would want because you might feel a wee bit self-conscious that you're laughing too loud or you're laughing too expression, like just too manically or whatever.
Aye.
But I think throughout this, we're all looking for a release of some sort, and I've definitely found myself like I've been crying with laughter at more things. So if I had chocolate tears, then I'd be crying with laughter, chocolate as well. So I'd be happy with that.
Chocolate tears seems to be winning so far. We've got Mickey
What did
coming
you
in
say,
saying,
John?
What were the options again?
Sneeze cheese or cry chocolate tears?
Sneeze cheese. Any day of the week. Sneeze it right onto my tongue.
Well, you could if you've got
to make that
face.
You've got to make that face as well. Like, what have we got going on here? Apparently, Martin Winderback's pushing for Gavin Mitchell to be Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
Aye, there was an article in the Daily Record the day I think Gavin posted it must be another slow news day, and it was like to play Joe Exotic because I think it's meant to be Nicolas Cage. I think there's more chat.
Aye, they said that. Aye, that's. I mean, Nicolas Cage is going to be.
Gav gets like to being Bond and all that. It's brilliant, and it'd be amazing. He's such a great actor. But Joe Exotic, he would kill it because he's one of the best impersonators as well. He's so funny.
Oh, his accents are class.
That Tiger thing just taking over as well, man. I was so devastated with that. It was just what you're saying, Dave. Like you're just laughing at stuff. Usually, I'd like watch a wee bit of it, but it got so ridiculous.
I know, didn't it?
I was like, this is getting worse. I actually don't know who the bad guy is anymore.
Aye,
you went full circle by the end. You're like, I like Joe. He's all right.
It was one of the first things I watched on lockdown, and I just watched it over two consecutive nights. I think like when it kicks off and you've got somebody with half an arm, you know some shit's went down.
Aye.
This isn't going to end well.
No.
Just get them to fuck though, man. Fucking get animals out of there. They should be in there like fucking jails for animals.
Rooney had pointed something out to me and he's like, there was a guy that came into it for a bit and then just get right off the hook. Who was that again?
It was the other boy that was down there who basically just ran like a brothel. He just had this weird cult where he had like 10 wives. Like you just
Aye,
had to
aye, that
say-
guy.
Aye, and no, he like barely got a mention after like, the minute Baskin turned up. They're like, "Nah, we don't even care about him." So like he's breaking all these laws. It's fine. He's not just enslaving women. It's fine. He's like bottom of a barrel.
That just shows you like how mental their Wild and Exotic Animals Act is over in the States, because there's something like 30,000
more
private
captivity there.
in captivity, like kicking about in somebody's living room, than there are fucking in the wild.
It's mental, isn't it?
It's
crazy.
nuts.
Upside
Ray Wood.
down world, man. Upside down world.
My
Gary
favourite bit
Fender
in it
saying-
was.
Sorry,
Sorry.
there you go.
No, on you go, on you go.
No, just saying. Gary Fender says, "You're no Joe Exotic. You're Bobby the barman." There you go, Gav. That's you're never getting away from this line, is it? It's getting much. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just going to say my favourite bit in it is when he says, who was the other kind of guy that owned the nightclubs and that, and the guy had the jet ski scene.
Oh, the au pair guy, the guy that hired the nanny. That
No, the other guy was like went into partnership with him, and then
Took
Aye,
over.
him,
can't
aye.
can't remember. But
Biker chick.
he had
That's
like
him.
he had the jet ski scene that was just there was no need for it. There was
No.
like no need. He just kicks about in this jet ski. But see when Joe Exotic's talking about him, and he's like, "Yeah, the dude's a walking Chucky doll." He's getting that mad fucking crazy. It was absolutely bang on. A walking Chucky doll.
He was in the pure grass, but
Aye,
Aye.
he was as bad as the lot of them as well.
aye, he
That's
was,
what I
wasn't
don't
he?
get. Like they just don't. It's like nobody at Bar Joe. Nobody getting. There was no consequences for any. Everyone just continued on doing what they were doing. It was
I know,
like,
man.
Now, but there's talk of
Aye.
them opening Carol Baskin's husband's case again. So, and you know they'll televise that OJ style.
100%. Oh, aye.
Aye,
Aye.
That
every-
is-
like,
That one
I
line
think that's
ruined
the
that woman.
biggest.
She'll end up racing away from her enclosure on the back of a fucking Liger or something like that. They'll be filming on the back of the Liger. He-Man on fucking his big cat. She'll be escaping. They'll have a drone. They'll have an Amazon drone filming it.
That's it. Aye, dropping her package in. You're not getting away from it that easy.
She'll
We'll
be,
get
she'll
this
be on
covered.
her mobile. I need a lawyer.
Is it not the biggest
Aye,
documentary ever now? Is it not like the biggest documentary ever? Aye.
highest ratings, aye. I think the guy who was making the original documentary that had all his stuff stored in the park,
Aye.
I think that would have been explosive. That's the only thing. Like at the end of it, Joe Exotic didn't come off as bad as he would have, which was
Aye, which
bad
he
as
had
it
in there.
was. But when they were all doing the kind of feedback show at the very last one, I don't know if you've watched that.
Aye,
but
I watched it.
after the last one, they all hated him.
Aye,
Aye.
I noticed
him,
that.
like, and you've seen some footage since then where he's been racist, and you know he's obviously a bit of a messed up guy, but it was compelling
Aye.
television.
Anybody that's feeding a tiger in the middle of a music video. I mean, it's not a great start.
And it
See you
wasn't
later
his
on,
voice
Gav.
on the
Thanks
songs,
for watching.
apparently.
Nah, it wasn't.
Cheers,
That's
Gav.
Gav
See you
away.
later.
Gavin.
See you later, Gav. Peace and love, man.
It's Bob's birthday today, so happy birthday, Bob the dog. Bob.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Bob the
Bob.
dog.
Happy
There's a lot of
birthday,
birthdays
Bob
on
the
it.
dog.
We'd like
On YouTube.
Moving on from the tiger thingy, you need to watch. If you like sport, particularly basketball, you need to watch the Last Dance with the Chicago Bulls going for
Been
their
really good for the six.
their second treble.
Is this on Netflix?
repeat. Aye.
Aye.
I'll get that on the list.
It was from
Very
it was from a 10-part that was on US ESPN, and then Netflix bought it for the UK. They stuck out the first 2 episodes together, and then I think they're released each Monday. Is that right?
I think it's 2 every Monday. So
2 every Monday.
aye,
cool.
I mean, what a team, man! Michael Jordan,
Unbelievable.
just one of the greatest athletes of all time. Dennis Rodman at the back, just fucking defending everything, and Scottie Pippen just feeding Jordan at every possible opportunity. It's just what a team, man.
It was great. It's been really interesting watching, and they've had that footage for so long. Like there's, because there's a few things with that. I know that Well, we've got you obviously UFC coming back as well this weekend, which will be really interesting.
Yes.
That's going to be another empty arena.
Where is it? What's happening with that?
I can't. Is it down in Vegas? Is that where they've set it up?
Is it in the UFC actual training facility?
No. Well, actually, I don't know. I'll need to double check that. I thought they were using a arena, but it was all cordoned off. Because that was the agreement they came up with. Because at one point Dana White was like, "We'll just take everyone to an island."
It was talking about buying an island to host the UFC, but do you think that was a publicity stunt? Do you think it was serious?
I think they've probably got the money, they could do it, but it's a wee bit of a bargaining tool, isn't it? Keep the cash flowing in America, but
especially right now, because if you're getting
they could probably do, like, with the money they've got, they probably could do antibody testing and all of the, whoever's coming in and out of the island. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's achievable.
Joe Rogan's doing like 2 or 3 podcasts a week, and he's getting everybody tested as they come in. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean the private testing kits are there. In terms of like how they're going to upscale that, like Nicola Sturgeon put out the SMP phase 2 of how they're going to upscale the testing, and then through contact tracing and stuff like that. But I mean, even like the proposals just now, the English Premier League, they had their 20 club meeting on Friday, and just now the proposal that's on the table for them, because there's the game's obviously awash with too much money anyway. It's just ridiculous what's happened in terms of just fucking transfer fees and wages. It's just astronomical. Yeah, if any sport needs an economic reset like the rest of society's undergoing, then it's definitely football. But the English Premier League have a contractual obligation to give Sky and BT, I think it's 96 games, and if they don't do that, then they need to give back 800 million. Roughly about 800 million to Sky and BT. So what they're talking about, like the Bundesliga players are back in training. The English Premier League, they've got players in individual training, obviously distanced. They're looking at all of this month getting them fit again, and then across a few neutral venues, so that it won't encourage any fans to go. Fans won't be allowed at the games anyway. But they've done they've done distancing testing, or they've just looked at the minimum amount of people, which is roughly about 350 people between the 2 clubs, the players, the staff, the film crews, all the rest of it. And they're talking about in June to get the rest of to finish the 96 games and let Liverpool rightfully win the league as well, just to throw that in. But to finish the games, they're going to put them on every day. We're going to televise 4 a day at 12, 2:30, 5 and 7:30, and it'll just be a feast of football at a World Cup throughout June, just to finish it.
It'll be boring without the fans.
Well, there won't be any fans there, but it's the only way they can do it without.
They need to do it, and Liverpool do deserve to lift the title, but
when he's a Man U fan.
Aye, when you watch the WWE, even Rooney would admit this season that Liverpool deserve it.
They've been all right.
Just it pains him.
I've been all right, mate. They can have it. It's just one title. It's fine. It's all right.
He's chasing Drew.
We've waited fucking long enough.
Drew McIntyre obviously won the WWE, but when you watched that behind closed doors, it just wasn't into it, and I could be the same party. It's, I don't know.
By the way, can I just say as well, there's definitely a correlation that the minute Liverpool are getting close to a league title, there's a pandemic and a lockdown. I'm just saying, there's just obviously something in that. I think somebody's definitely not. We've never had football shut down, no, since the war. And the minute they go for another title, we're shut. Quite right. I think there's something in that. By the way,
they ended up. I think they had to move to regional leagues during the Second World War. Yeah, it still went on for a wee bit actually.
No, they've actually since we've been on, they've just approved Bundesliga starting back on the 15th of May.
Right. Okay.
So that'll be back quite.
Breaking news.
I know.
There's Gary Pender's shout out to Gaz. He works in the bars as well, helps out with the merch, and he's been helping out volunteering with us as makers also. He's pal. Gary's one of the coaches with the Glasgow Rocks basketball team.
Brilliant.
and he says you should watch Make It Rain, a Scottish basketball story. I don't know what platform that's on.
Aye, we'll need to check that out. But aye, that would be great. Aye, because the Last Dance been really interesting to watch.
Cheers, G.
Ian, it's as UFC not on about. Aye, Ian that's Scobie. What I was just talking about. Ian Scobie, just about the private island. It seems to be. I just checked it as well in 249s. They're doing it in an arena in Jacksonville, in Florida. Right. So
confirmed.
Jacksonville where the original home of film in America. That's where all the black and white films were filmed back in the day. Keystone Cops and all that. Aye.
That's an interesting. That's was the
wee factoid.
I know it's.
We've actually we had a clip and everything to show you, and we've just rabbled on about coronavirus.
Charlie Chaplin, they had studios in, I think it was New York in there, and Charlie Chaplin was like, nah, Miami or wherever it is. Stay where it's hot.
Aye.
I come from Victoria in England. No chance am I going to New York.
No, in New York. I know. I can't believe that time as well. We've
ran 10 minutes there. Try to keep it to an hour so we can keep it short and sweet, and that's that.
John and I have been known to ramble.
Don't bring me into this talking point. You certainly won that race every time.
I don't know, but cheers to the point for coming on.
I know.
And shout out. Are you even in lockdown if you're not on a podcast or starting a podcast? But the 23 podcast show that me and Andy had started up with Frankie last February that we were doing inside the Barrowland Ballroom. We're restarting that on Saturday, so we're going to have a couple of guests to announce. 9 o'clock on Saturday from the 23 Universe page. The 23 podcast show will be back indoors, staying safe, protecting the NHS, saving lives.
Absolutely.
Nice
no, that'd
one.
Be brilliant, mate. We'll get all that up. Is there anything else, guys?
If you'd done that with your hair, you could just make that a really good moustache, like a Liverpool 1980s footballer moustache.
I think there's an interesting irony in that just as I get hair back again, the last time I was actually there when we won the league, when we beat QPR 2-1 in 1990, the last time we won the league, and that's when I had my perm. And now I've got hair back again, and we're about to win the league. So there's something in the hair.
Get that shaved, Davey. As a United fan, I'll come round and shave that in your sleep, mate. That's what'll happen.
You'll need to use the stick that my mystery barber used.
One of them over the top, aye. That was brilliant.
So should we maybe just finish on the clip that we were going to talk about, and never got a show?
Fire up.
We can do, absolutely. This was
right, cheers for coming on, John. Dave.
Thanks again, guys.
Good chatting to you.
Catch you soon.
And here we go with the old clip. Oh.
What's going on?
What's going on there?
Technical difficulties again. Oh, they're going to miss Johnny. Does it's 14 somersaults.
Can't believe it did that. That's devastating, man.
Oh well.
That backflip I done, right into the crowd. Unbelievable.